Hello guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. We're doing another cook today. Some of you might recognize this cook from the thumbnail. This August marks 10 years since I started Barbechoo, so I can't remember the exact day, but August 2015 was the first time I posted anything as Barbechoo. Pretty quickly after that my website started, and then after a few years then I decided I wanted to start making videos, and boom, here we are now. So in order to celebrate that, I thought it would be a good idea to do my favourite 10 cooks, or kind of revisit them, maybe do things slightly differently than what I'd done in the original recipe. Maybe the technique will change a little bit. And today this smoked chicken with Alabama white sauce is definitely one that surprised me whenever I first did it. I don't tend to like vinegary sauces, so the Alabama white sauce surprised me a lot, especially on that nice smoky chicken. So we're going to revisit that one today. So let's get on with it. We're going to prepare the chickens first and get the Kamado Joe fired up. Then we'll talk a little bit about the sauce. So using the Classic 3 today, I have it set up with lump of charcoal in the bottom. Our accessory rack then is set on the middle level with our heat diffusers in here. So obviously I'm going to close these over. We're going to go indirect today. I believe the original recipe was actually all direct. So this is going to be a slight difference in it. We're kind of doing like a hot smoke today. So we have a nice chunk of cherry wood. We're going to throw this in once we get the coals up and ready, because I want this to smoke just as soon as we're putting the chickens onto it. So I'll get this lit, get everything coming up to temperature, and then we'll show you how we're going to prepare the chickens. So at this point, I felt like the entire world decided to cut their grass at the same time, so there's no talking in this bit. We're doing a little voiceover instead. So our chickens, we are removing the backbone of them and then cutting them into halves. So I think in the original video we cut the chickens down into quarters. This time we're going in halves. So take some poultry snips, run them up each side of the backbone, and then take a sharp knife and you can go down through that breastbone. It takes a little bit of pressure, but if you have a good sharp knife, it's perfectly fine to get through. We're not doing any more trimming to them. If there's any little excess bits of skin, certainly clean them off. Then we hit them with a little bit of olive oil just to act as a binder on that skin, and we're going in with a Smoky Carter Lemon SPG. They're big chunks of chicken, so don't be shy with the flavouring, and make sure and do that underside as well. I know there's not a lot of meat in there, but it will penetrate through into the flesh on the other side. Barbecue's nicely lit up, coming up the temperature. We're still a little bit low, and I'm sure once we move the setup about a bit, the temperature will differ a little bit too. So we're going to get our diffuser plates into place, but before we do, we have to stick in our chunk of cherry wood. We'll stick it right in the middle and put our two diffusers in. Move our cooking grates over. Then we'll give that a quick clean down. Now our chicken's ready to go on. So we have them done in halves. Hopefully it should make them a little bit. You could just spatchcock them out, but I think this will make it a little bit easier just to fit them onto the centre of the barbecue. We're going to go on the bone side down, so your flesh is up the way. Make sure it gets the most amount of smoke. So I'd say it's fit it on just about perfect. We will close it down, let the cherry smoke roll. We're aiming for a temperature of 180 to 200, that high roasting temperature, but we want the nice smoke on there. I am going to use Thermopen Dot, and we'll just put it into the deepest part of one of those breasts. This one at the back, just to keep an eye on things, and then we can come back and check them all with the Thermopen afterwards anyway. So we'll let them cook, take on some smoke, and now we'll talk about the sauce. I've had it cleaned down, so our chicken's smoking away. Now we can get on with the sauce. So the main ingredient in the sauce is mayonnaise. So we have about a cup of mayonnaise. Then, like I said, it's like a vinegary sauce. So we're going in with 5 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. If you like it a little bit more tangy, you can add an extra one in there. Then we have about a tablespoon of horseradish cream, and also about a tablespoon of American mustard. So it's all our wet ingredients. Then we need about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of garlic powder. I like garlic, so we'll go closer to a teaspoon. Same with onion granules. And then 1/4 to half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Then, forgot my salt and pepper. So few twists of salt and loads of pepper. Yeah, give it a mix up. As far as consistency goes, it should be quite a thin sauce, so this is still probably a little bit thick for my liking, so I'm going to go and see if I have any apple juice. You can use apple juice to dilute it down. If you don't have apple juice, stick a splash of water in there just to thin it a little bit. That's the negative on the apple juice. So water, I'll just add a tablespoon or so at a time. I think I'm happy with that. It's kind of lost its mayonnaise-y texture and turned more into a sauce, so that's what we're wanting. So clean spoon, we go in. Really nice bite of vinegar. Tiniest little bit of heat from the cayenne, but not too much. I would nearly say it's more of a pepper heat, which is what I like anyway. It's a little bit creamy, a little bit zesty. Yeah, I like it. I can't wait to try it with this chicken. Now all we're doing is waiting for our chicken to come up to temperature. We wanted to hit kind of 72 to 75 in that breast, just to make sure it's nice and cooked all the way through, but it stays juicy. We don't want to take it over that. So I'll get rid of this lot and then I'll bring you back then once we're ready to try it. Okay, everything's ready. Time to give it a try. So we kept smoking the chicken until the thermopan dot read 72. At that point then we went in, started poking with the thermopan to check the legs and different things like that there, just to see what temperature we're sitting at. Kind of want the legs sitting maybe low to mid 80s, and definitely the breast needs to be sitting between 72 and 75, just to make sure it's well enough cooked you're not going to cause any problems, but it's still nice and juicy inside. At that stage, while we were kind of waiting for that last degree or two, I started flipping it about the grill, so turned it over skin side down, just try and get a little bit of extra colour on it. It has that nice smoke colour on it, so now we just wanted a little bit of that kind of direct heat coming up from those heat diffusers, just to crisp up the skin a little bit. Once everything was probing nice, we lifted it off then. I've got a little portion of the sauce here, sliced one of them in half here just to give it a try. Family is eating the rest. Time to dig in. I guess thighs it is. This bit here is right for the taking. Oh, so juicy, it's making such a mess, it's dripping everywhere. Spoon, so spin over some of that sauce. A little bit of sauce, and grab some of the skin, bit of the meat. It's down to your taste. You might try the sauce and think it's a little bit tangy, but trust me, once you try it with the actual grilled meats and pair the two together, that tanginess really helps, especially with the smoke. Nice flavour coming through from that rub. So that was the first of my 10 favourite cooks I've done in the last 10 years. Not necessarily doing them in order. I'm not sure this would be my most favourite cook, but it was definitely up there and it didn't disappoint. I remember being surprised about how tasty it was when I first done it, and I have to say it hasn't let me down, so I'm glad I put it into the top 10. I will leave a link below to the original recipe if you want to give it a try, and the original video if you want to watch that for a much younger James cooking chicken. But if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.